Welcome back, and hope you're all having a beautiful Xmas out there, and happy holidays to each and every one of you. And as you notice the conversation about what Santa brought me, a new car. Well, I mean, we can all dream, right? Unfortunately, I looked under the tree this morning and I didn't see anything. There's no car, there's no keys, there's nothing other than a few gifts, which I'm grateful for, and just even more grateful to have, two things. Number one, health and family, and the other thing is to have a great audience that just wants to learn about cars and learn a little bit about Mark and what makes him tick and why I got into the car industry and car world in general and why I even like cars in the first place and what makes me tick. So here's a fun question, and I want to kind of talk about if you did happen to wish for a new car, what would that be? Let's make this a light conversation. Hey, happy holidays to everybody. But realistically, if, given the circumstances and what the market's like today, what kind of car would you actually wish for? And I have to think, in my case, if I was to wish for a new car, what would I wish for? Well, it probably wouldn't be a Corolla. It probably wouldn't be a Kia Rio. It probably wouldn't even be I don't know. There's a lot of those kind of cars. Mitsubishi, there's nothing there that really excites me. That's personally. What would it be? Well, I like a lot of cars these days, and I think some of the best cars out there, if I was looking at it from the perspective of a car that I need to have versus a car that I want to have. Let's break this down, shall we? So I think some of the best cars from the perspective of need to have are something that's going to deliver on practicality. I think about SUVs, and three-row SUVs are quite practical. They're boring, but they're practical. So if my primary objective right now was to family haul, what would I be looking at? Well, probably some of the most interesting cars I'd probably be looking at if I needed some three rows because I want to haul some family around. If I was thinking three-row luxury, I'd probably think something like a Mercedes GLB or a GLE. But they're not that great a quality, and quite frankly, I'd probably, if I was looking for something three-row, maybe go look at something like a Yukon. But more likely, looking for a three-row SUV that isn't absolutely huge, I'd probably go look at, and I'm thinking it would probably be a Mazda CX-90. It'd probably be a Toyota Highlander. Probably be a Toyota 4Runner, because you can get the upgraded third row there. Maybe a Lexus GX 550. There's another great three-row. What else can you get that's three-row that's kind of fun and frivolous? I don't know. BMW has the X7. I mean, that might be a thing. The old X5s had a three-row as an upgrade. They were kind of rare. Maybe look at an X7. Now you can get, if you like Dodges and Jeeps, which I'm not the biggest fan. We had a Durango many years ago and we liked ours, but I don't like the way they're built these days. Personally, I think they feel like they're very soft and they feel very minivan-like, but you can get a three-row in a Durango, you can get a three-row in a Jeep Grand Cherokee or a Wagoneer. So there's some options out there for three-row vehicles. Again, if I woke up Christmas morning and I was really hoping for a three-row SUV, then those would probably be some vehicles I'd be looking at. Okay. What if I wanted something, maybe my primary objective was a pickup truck. I like to do some hauling and towing, and I need that versatility and I need that powerhouse to do that. Many people have asked me, what kind of truck would you buy? Well, there's two ways you can break this down. Half tons, I really probably wouldn't bother with the smaller trucks because I like the idea of hauling a 4x8 sheet of drywall or plywood. and I do that kind of work sometimes. So I feel like I'd probably need at least a full-size half-ton, three-quarter, one-ton truck. So let's just say if I wanted a non-diesel, say a half-ton truck, what would I pick? Well, what's on the market today? I probably wouldn't buy the Ram, even though I've got an older Dodge Ram. It's because this new 6-cylinder that they have, it's not very tested yet. Time will tell on its overall reliability. Probably wouldn't buy that yet. With that Hurricane engine, maybe that needs 5 years to sort of settle in and show its value. Ford, I've never been, I think Ford's, from what I understand, what I know in my experience, Fords make probably of these bunch, of the big four, because well, let's throw Toyota in the mix too. I think Toyota, the Tundra is a great opportunity, but I think the reliability is a little bit up in the air yet. So I'd have to give that a couple more years to sort of settle in and stabilize and prove itself before we saw more engine issues. But realistically, for a half-ton capacity or something that was a gas jobby, I'd probably look very, very hard at the Toyota Tundra once I felt comfortable that the issues were gone away. Because it's still a V6. I mean, the V8s were better, but the V6 is still not like a turbo 4. And I don't know if turbo 4-cylinder engines belong in a truck or a full-size SUV. I'm not believing that that's the biggest value add, but I think if I was looking for a truck, probably I'd look at a Tundra maybe in a couple of years once we prove that there's no more issues. Ford, I probably wouldn't, the EcoBoost, I know Fords have some of the best rides, and it seems to be the least rust prone of the big three, of the big four. But I don't, the EcoBoost, and there's, cam phasers and some of those challenges there, and there's been more than enough recall issues for Ford. I don't know. I don't know if I would go with the Ford half-ton. Probably not. But I think I would go with the Toyota first and then the GMC second. I'd probably look at either 5.3 or 6.2. And I know, unfortunately, the cylinder deactivation is a mess. Hey, if I can afford that, maybe I'd look at a 2 and maybe there's a way to deactivate that. But I think, I think we'd be looking at a Toyota and maybe a Chevy. That'd be probably the way I'd go if I was looking for a full-size truck. If I was looking for a smaller truck, I'm not a fan of the Ranger. I'm not a fan of the Maverick. I don't think they're personally that well made. What else? Don't have a lot of other options other than maybe the Tacoma. So I'd probably go with the Tacoma. But again, that one needs a little bit of time to sort of brew and prove itself out because there's been problems with the transmission, and that 2.4 has been, it's a little bit undersized in my opinion, but hey, I think I could probably go with the Tacoma over anything else in that space. What about a diesel? If I want to do some diesel hauling, nicest truck is the HD Denali Ultimate. What can I say? Nicest truck. But I think because of the engine and the legendary engine, I would probably pick number one would be the Ram 3500 HD. Probably do something like a Laramie or something. I like that Cummins diesel, and I think even though I know there's been some problems and it's not the most reliable Cummins drivetrain, I do believe that the Cummins would probably be the engine to go to. Duramax, a little long in the tooth. Some say that's arguably pretty reliable too. Allison transmission, good stuff. All good options. So GM would be a damn close second for me. Ford, absolutely not even in the running. Not a chance. So, yeah, I don't know. That would be the case. If I needed a truck and I needed to do some hauling, I'd probably go that route. Now, what if I wanted to do something fun? I mean, it is Christmas, right? So what if we just wanted to do something that was a little bit more interesting? Well, there's the low cost interesting, and then there's the high cost interesting. So let's start with the low cost interesting stuff. Fun cars. Probably still look at the Mustang. I think they're a lot of fun. You can still get, you know, manual, and I think any V8 Mustang is always a fun option. It's too bad the Camaro's kind of going away. That would be a good option for me too. The Corvette would definitely be up there. That's not super high cost, especially if you're dealing with a Stingray. You can get into those for under $100,000, $80,000, $90,000. I'd probably look at a Stingray. If we're talking kind of moderately priced sports cars, I do like the Supra, and I think the Supra is way more interesting than the Z car from Nissan. That's my own personal opinion. So realistically, I'd probably take it in that order. Start with the Stingray, then maybe, you know, probably the Mustang with a manual gearbox and the 5-liter, and then probably a Supra. Those would be the fun sporty cars that I'd probably buy. And then the fun cars, the really fun supercars. Let's try that. There's a lot of cool cars out there, aren't there? This is, I mean, a lot of this, you know, a lot of people are saying we're at the epicenter of some of the worst cars ever made. And a lot of that is because of, you know, hybridization, EVs. But in some cases, if you still got a manufacturer that still uses all of that electrification just to add to all of the ICE, like, I truly love what Ferrari's doing, and I know the resale's not that great on those cars, but I think the 296 is my favorite right now because it's rear-wheel drive, and I've always loved the idea of having a rear-wheel drive supercar with a fast-shifting double-clutch gearbox, and it uses a little hybrid just to give it an extra oomph, right? It makes it extra fast. The SF90 is a fun option. That would be another nice one, a little more money, but the all-wheel drive probably, I mean, it looks pretty amazing, but I don't think it would go there just on the premise of the all-wheel drive system. I feel it would probably feel too artificial and too un-Ferrari and un-McLaren-like. So, and I always like the idea of a rear-wheel drive Ferrari mid-engine, you know, with a very powerful drivetrain. And so that's a 296, meets their criteria. McLaren has that new 750. I would definitely look at that. That's a contender. And Porsche, well, everybody talks about the GT3 RS. I think that's just too easy. I would probably go with the Turbo S. I realistically think that's just a more usable, like arguably faster in a straight line. And with the all-wheel drive just makes it more interesting. So that would be my criteria. 296 Ferrari, McLaren 750, and then possibly the Porsche 911 Turbo S. The Temerario and the Lamborghini, probably not really what I'm feeling. Not loving that particular car. I love Lamborghini, and I love, you know, their V12 supercars. You know, could definitely look at the Revuelto. That's a cool car. I hear nothing but good things. Maybe that fits the bill there for Lambo. I don't know, but that's stepping up the price tag a little bit there. Now you're over 6 figures, easily over 6 figures there. So, hey, if you're going, go big, right? Go hard. So if Santa was to deliver me a new vehicle this year for Christmas, I have to say those would be my top picks. My favorite picks, my favorite wishes. If I was to, you know, wish to the stars and hope that, you know, Christmas morning, that all of a sudden one of those cars shows up with the keys under the tree, those would probably be the cars I'd be looking at. I'd love to hear your thoughts, everybody. Do you all agree? It's Christmas. Let's have some fun. Enjoy time with the family. Enjoy time, stay warm for those places that are buried in snow right now like we are. And I hope everybody's having a great time with family and friends and relax. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please drop a line. Please, I absolutely am reaching out to all of you. I'd love to hear your thoughts down there. You know, what would be your favorite pick? If you could wish that Santa would bring you one of your favorite vehicles for Christmas, I'd love to hear it. Please do drop a line. I'd like to hear what your choices would be. Anyway, I hope to have everybody has a wonderful day. Keep it safe, keep it fun, keep it fresh. And as well, please don't drink and drive. Hope to see each and every one in the next one. See you real soon. Bye-bye.